look a little bit more at Littledata's own product with our product manager, Rarish. And we're going to look at one of the new features we've launched, which we're calling Live Order Feed. So, Rarish, welcome to the live stream.
Thank
Tell
you.
us a little bit about the background of this problem. What have we seen customers need to do over the last year that's driven it?
Right. So, in the world of data analytics, I think a frustrating wall has been built between users and their own data. When you talk about maybe, let's say, Google Analytics or really other marketing channels, there's always been delayed reporting, difficulties in verifying data. So essentially, there's this blind trust built into the platforms that the user doesn't really have a choice. He just has to accept. And here at Littledata, we're just trying to break that wall and add more transparency to the data that we send to our chosen destinations.
Right. So I think we've been really since the beginning trying to make good on this promise to really track 100% of your revenue in the marketing tools you're using. So Google Analytics, Facebook ads, now TikTok and Instagram and Pinterest. So
Pinterest.
But I'd say at a high level, that's all well and good. But I guess it's quite a big claim, isn't it, that we can do 100%? And so we found that people want to really get into the details.
Right. So exactly, 100% of orders is a big claim, especially that right now for a Shopify store, orders don't necessarily come through the classic Shopify checkout route. So we see an increasing trend of customers actually connecting warehouses, more draft orders, POS orders, or even integrating with platforms such as Facebook and Instagram shopping, where Shopify really is just the backend and the administrative backbone of the entire store.
Right. So it's kind of more, I guess, it's a particular store scale that's more complex, right? They've got more different channels, more different goes to markets. Some of those are by their own website, some of those are by other, as you say, third-party sites, maybe Amazon or Walmart, etc.
Exactly.
So,
And,
yeah, how does that
yeah,
fit order feed?
yeah. Sorry.
I mean, how does that lead into the live order feed? What's the sort of thing?
So, so the idea behind the live order feed is to actually not to wait for your data to register in your end data platform, is actually, or to have to verify it after a couple of days. With the Littledata live order feed, you can check within seconds after the order has been placed a certain set of information, such as the source the order has come from, a summary of the order information and product information. So at least from a data collection point of view, that all the data that you were expecting to track has already been tracked and sent to your destination of choice.
And I should just pause there to say on the accuracy thing, if you are using Google Analytics 4 and you think that you don't, not necessarily on Shopify, but actually on any tool, and you think you're not actually getting all of your orders into Google Analytics, or you think that's not a problem for you, we do actually have, and I'll post it in the chat here, a tool to go and check your GA4 conversions. It's really simple. You just add your Google account and you select the Google Analytics account to connect, and then it just scans through all of the properties on that account and looks for missing conversions didn't get to GA4. So it's just a really good way at a glance to see, have you got all the conversions accurate, and also have you got all the events that lead up to the conversion, because those are two things you need to get the most out of GA4. And I guess again, with Littledata, we're promising that you will have that right. So if you're using Littledata, please try the tool, but you'll hopefully see 100% match. But as I said, for stores that want to really check that down, they can now drill into the orders. So yes, why don't you show us a little bit how this works?
Yeah, let me share my screen. All right. So, here is the Littledata app. I hope everyone sees this. So essentially, as a Littledata customer, when you log into the app, or after you successfully set up one of our connections, such as Google Analytics, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, under the weekly orders process widget, you'll have a button that says View Live Order Feed, and this is what you will be seeing right now. So essentially, the live order feed is a real-time order tracker that tracks the latest 50 orders that have been placed in on your store, and it's mainly made out of two main components. So on the left side, you will have the last 50 orders that have happened on your store, and if you click any of these orders, you will see the details of it.
So I guess for some stores, this is going to, the high order volumes, this is going to update in real time. But I guess for some stores, that 50 orders might happen over a number of days. It's unlikely to when they're actually doing it. So how can they get a better feel that that it is actually working?
Mhm. Okay, right. Thank you for the question. This story is exactly one of those examples where maybe 50 orders actually happen across more than 20 days. So for stores that after connecting the data, obviously data will start registering here. But let's say you want to make sure that everything is connected. You want to make sure that your data is actually flowing to your Google Analytics account. So we built this really simple feature called to send a simple test order. So you will have a button called send a test order that will send a zero value order to all the destinations that you have set in order not to affect your revenue reporting in any way, but just to make sure that the connection is actually working. And the order will be flagged up in the feed appropriately. You'll see the data logo and the LD test order tag. Again, with a note that this is actually a test order, so you don't really need to worry about it, but it is a confirmation that data is already flowing to your destination.
So it's not going to affect their sort of overall revenue because it's reporting because it's $0, obviously. But I guess
it's $0.
One more order.
Exactly.
And you can easily filter out the products right as well, because again, the products are sort of test product.
Right. So the product will always be a Littledata test order. So the only metric that it would really affect is the purchase numbers, the order count. But other than that, everything is perfectly filterable.
Fantastic. Can we test a send order?
Yeah, absolutely. So you would click a send a test order. Again, a small notice that this is a zero value order and this will not affect overall reporting, and then send a test order. Sometimes you might notice there will be a couple of seconds in delay whenever an order is actually placed or a test order is being sent from Littledata, because it just takes a bit of a time for our data pipeline to process all the information. But as you can see, it actually just happened a few seconds ago. As you can see, Littledata test order 8530, and all the information is displayed here.
And tell us a bit about that logos of the different destinations. So it's got a tick next to Google Analytics. So that's for those that don't know, that's the Google Analytics logo.
Yeah. So again, on the right side, in this order was sent to the following destinations. You will see all the destinations that Littledata has to offer. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your data has been sent to those destinations, because you might have opted out of them, or they're just simply not connected. So every time you will see a green check next to the connection where the order was actually being sent to, in this case, Google Analytics, because that's the only connection that I have available for this specific account. But maybe in the past, I have set up multiple connections. Again, for this specific store, as you can see, this order has been sent to all 5 data destinations. So again, it's a confirmation that for a specific analytics channel or marketing channel, data was sent to.
Great. So if I'm a brand and I see the kind of the Facebook logo grayed out, what that means is that I'm not sending that order to Facebook server side, but I could be. I could add the Littledata Facebook ads connection, and off I go.
Absolutely. So on the left in the sidebar, you have the option to add a new connection, and there you're going to find all the connections that Littledata has to offer.
That's fantastic. So I think one of the things perhaps for any long-standing customers looking at this, one of the things to flag up is that we've actually launched a whole load of new data destinations over the last year. So we want to support all of the major marketing channels that brands are using, obviously Google and Facebook and Instagram, but increasingly experimenting with TikTok and Pinterest. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. And yeah, perhaps just while you've got the screenshot up, obviously the fact that you can also drill into the actual product, and I think product granular the detail is one of the things that Littledata does well, and again, other integrations don't. So the ability to see exactly which product, which variant, which product category, all the way through the funnel is really important. I don't know if you've ever gone to the Google Analytics product performance report and you've seen kind of like blank numbers in the different columns. The problem, getting that right is that you've got to send that information consistently to Google Analytics throughout the journey. So if you really want to see that sort of product table report working well in terms of which products get through which step of the journey, you've got to do it by Littledata.
So when we build this feature, we just wanted what we had in mind is that we want to bring more the store into the dashboard to feel more personal, to feel that that your Shopify store is actually connected to the data and it's communicating. So all of your, for example, in the order information under the products table, you would also be seeing your product images being pulled, so you can actually have like a more clear overview of, okay, for this specific order, this is the product that it contains.
Yeah, sure. Perhaps I'll just share my screen actually just to explain what I was making about the product report, because it's maybe a bit hard to see. So this is the kind of e-commerce purchase report in Google Analytics, a standard thing. And first of all, you have this graph that will work if you're sending both the items viewed and items added to cart. But in this table, my point is you've got to, if you want to get this sort of, again, these are $0 here just because they're test products with zero value. But the point is, if you want to see these 3 steps of the journey correctly, and in fact, you can set up a custom report with more steps of the journey. Obviously, what it hasn't got here is checkout steps or item list views. But if you want to see that across the thing, you've got to send all of the item names, item categories, etc., for all these different stages. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what's coming next from Littledata and the product side. What can people expect?
Right. Exciting launches coming next. I think I would just like to give a bit of context first. So while Littledata's magic has always been, let's say, a very fast and intuitive setup where you connect Littledata to your Shopify store, in another couple of minutes you have a full tracking setup ready to send data to your chosen destinations. But what I've seen is that for more power users, more enterprise users, we want to give them the opportunity to customize their data pipeline, to essentially to add more flavor to their data, because we see more and more use cases are being enabled for specific stores. So what's coming next is what we call a complete store settings redesign and overhaul, where we basically bring a dashboard for each connections, where you can start actually controlling how the data looks like and what kind of data you want to send. For example, for Google Analytics, maybe I don't want to track out to cards, or maybe I don't want to track removal from cards, or from whatever reason I want to block some orders from a specific channel or an app that's been importing orders. That's all going to be possible from the new Littledata products that we're going to be releasing.
Yeah, great. And I think we've been doing this behind the scenes as a company for quite a while, but obviously what we realize is most people want to self-serve. They want to, go and configure this themselves any time of day, not have to sort of contact our excellent customer support team, but, kind of just to actually kind of use the product and be really clear. I guess with configuration options, it's often confusing what the impact is going to have. So be really clear, what's going to happen when they change it.
Yes. And I think one of the biggest challenges right now our merchants are facing, and it's increasingly more visible with Google Analytics 4, is the infamous unassigned channel, which right now it's not always clear, from where those orders are coming from. So essentially, the unassigned channel right now is a mix of channels we don't really know the source from, or orders that come from maybe a source and medium that is really not really defined in this in the session evolve group naming. And with the feature that we're looking into building, is giving the users the ability to select what kind of orders to send to Google Analytics. So we have users that use POS. We have users that maybe place orders via phone, and they have to set some draft orders, or they maybe import from warehouses. All that are non-web orders. So essentially, they cannot really be tracked. They cannot really be tracked back to a specific user. And in this case, the question is, what do I want as a user? Either I care about my revenue metrics matching what I see in Shopify, or I really care about tracking just the web orders because they actually represent and can be tracked back to a specific user.
Yeah, so we've given some people choice. I mean, just to recount what you're saying, I mean, this is the sort of bucket that appeared suddenly in Google Analytics 4, and previously this was sort of all bundled under Direct. So I guess it was less obvious to people that there was a problem, and I mean, it's not always a problem. I mean, unassigned could be just that you've got the UTM set up in your marketing tool wrong, so you're kind of tagging that there's what sits behind this channel grouping. Is a sort of default list of rules that Google Analytics has to bucket it all. And obviously, if you're using Google Ads or something like that, then it's quite good at tagging it correctly, obviously. But if you're doing anything else, you need to add those tags, like for SMS, the specific UTM medium for that. So yeah, unassigned is a sort of confusing bucket, I think, that we can try and clear up for users.
Yes. And I think what's more, again, an increasing question that we're getting from our merchants right after they set up a server-side solution such as Littledata, all of a sudden the unassigned channel percentages explode, and that can be pretty intimidating, given that we're not fully educated on Google Analytics 4 yet. There's still a lot of things to learn around it, and they might assume that we're actually not attributing orders anymore. The actual reason behind that spike is that by using a server-side solution, you're actually tracking more channels that historically you weren't tracking. So we're talking about channels that they're not happening via the Shopify checkout, and they cannot be tracked back to a user.
So perhaps a good example is if you're trading on Amazon, and I guess a lot of people have a certain amount of orders now. I mean, they might not connect that to Shopify store, but obviously if you've got a small minority of your orders, you probably do, just because logistically for fulfillment and stuff, it's much easier to route them all through Shopify. And what will happen there, because Amazon doesn't actually tell you as a brand where that order came from, they'll just come through directly and they'll just appear as an order. And from our perspective, there's no way of linking them back to a campaign. So as you say, I guess, without mangling my words, they are unattributable. We just don't know. So yeah, I think that's quite exciting to be able to get clearer for users what is a sort of gap in their tracking that could be improved, and what is the stuff that you say is fundamentally an offline order that they wouldn't have. They would never be able to link back. Not never, because obviously via the Shopify customer ID we can do that. And thank you. Jazz just posted, we have a help article about how to fix this other channel, because that's the other bucket that goes under there. So yeah, I think that's great that it's nice to hear that we're responding to kind of what are the problems on the ground for a lot of our users with GA4.
Yep.
As ever, we're continuing to do this live stream about quite focused on Google Analytics 4 and the various ways to improve the reporting there. I'm always happy to hear comments about what your challenges you're finding. We're going to talk to another couple of Google Analytics 4 experts over next week. But Raj, thank you very much for coming on the show. I think that was super helpful. And I hope we can do a little presentation of Littledata's product improvement next month.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and maybe I'll see you soon.
Thanks. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Bye.